Okay, we're live online, but you got a couple minutes still.
I gotta at least get half. I gotta at least get them in the same, like.
In the same pool, yeah.
Okay, August 28th, 5:30, I'm going to call the personnel meeting to order. Justice Shipman is the only one not present, otherwise the other four JPs are here. Thank you, Cheyenne, for getting all these updates to us. I had a couple of things that I had that I didn't see on here and vice versa. So I don't know if I missed something. So if we can go back to page 7. Does anybody else have anything before we start, I guess? Leslie, good?
No, I'm good.
Okay.
I'm just looking at this on my phone because, my trusty iPad, my trusty tablet here is loading.
Okay.
So if I'm squinting, it's not really at you guys. Just can't see it.
It's on page 17 on the edited one that Cheyenne had sent. Under H double I. The rainbow.
Oh,
Yes, yes, okay. That second sentence, I was like, are there permanent records kept at the county clerk's office? I didn't think so. I was like, did I miss that?
that slipped by us.
That's okay. That's why we're going through this all. We're all human.
I will.
That was
that fit. There were so many.
There were, and you really caught all of them. Like I sat outside this weekend just going through, like rereading everything and looking at my notes, and I was like, no. Okay. Page 19 was the next one. Okay, and this is what I had in my notes, but I didn't see it anywhere here. And I'm not sure where we want to add this, because I know we talked about it. I thought we talked about it. Putting somewhere, and I don't know if it needs to go under the holiday leave. That's the first one that it really affects that. Anybody in the law enforcement building gets paid 12 hours. We're going to settle down moving forward for 10 hours, and all of our offices were 8 because it's the regular hours that they work. And I don't see that, and that broken down in any of the new updates. Did we talk about that, or did I?
We did, but I think that how we talked about it was that each department would give as their department is assigned. So like,
So they would
if
just send them in.
the road department, right, if the
Okay.
road department is scheduled for 10 hours, then they would get
Just
10
an hour
hours.
for holiday.
If
Okay.
law enforcement is 12 hours, then they would get the 12 hours.
So that doesn't
Because
need to
it
be
could
documented in our.
Because I would just document it as the department is working or have something to that effect, because if that changes, say,
That's true.
if a department changes and, the assessor's office or the treasurer's office, all of a sudden they're having to work 10-hour shifts because of some reason, and it does fall during a holiday, that way they would get that 10 hours versus the 8.
I put it as all holidays shall be observed at your department's typical workday pay rate. I think that's how we worded it. Should we put like pay rate and hours to kind of cover that better, or?
The pay rate's not gonna change at all, so
No, it's not pay rate that will change, it's the actual.
it's the actual hours. So, yeah.
Yeah.
I know, that's what I'm asking. I mean, if it doesn't need to be in there, that's fine.
Well, I would just designate it to where
See that,
the department's hours are going to be paid for the holiday. I'm not in the right frame of mind right now to be able to give you a really good grade, so.
how about,
With our one.
yeah, employees who are required to work on a holiday shall receive the holiday pay in addition to their regular rate for their normally scheduled hours, shifts. I don't know.
Taking a shift.
Yeah, and I would Google it and see what other policies are and everything, and word it that same way. And then also Russo's gonna look at it, he's gonna put his 2 cents in it too, but I would, or I can go into Sherman and see how those are stuff. Make it more clear.
At your regular rate of pay and department hours. I don't know, something like that. I just like, maybe it doesn't need to all be spelled out, but like just to have it out there that they know, like whatever your department hours are that you're working, that's
You're gonna get the
what
same
you're
amount
gonna get
of
the same amount of holiday as.
Yeah.
Department.
My department, yeah. I'm gonna be creative.
Yeah, we'll work it.
Well,
different.
yeah,
We'll
we'll
work
get it in there.
I just think
so that
that
it's-
something needs to be in there. So,
Yeah.
Since we're under that holiday
Yes.
leave section, there is that highlighted yellow that came from the old policy regarding, the sheriff's.
Yes, your
You wanna,
certificate pay.
you wanna review that and go over that real quick since we're here?
Sure.
Okay.
This is in the current policy book.
Yes.
So, with regard to the vacation, sickness, and other fringe benefits outlined herein, it must be understood that these benefits are not required by law, nor are they guaranteed by the county, and the employee, nor does the county incur any debt or obligation. Certified law enforcement officer additional salary payments, all full-time certified law enforcement officers employed by the Marion County Sheriff's Department shall receive additional per new compensation of $300 per certificate who have obtained law enforcement certification as defined by the Arkansas Commission of Law Enforcement Standards and training for the attainment of the basic certificate, general certificate, intermediate certificate, advanced certificate, senior certificate, law enforcement instructor, field training officer, firearms instructor, crime scene technician, canine handler. The additional compensation shall be payable starting on January 1st of each year following receipt of said certificates. A copy of the certificate must be filed with HR payroll administrator to receive additional compensation. The award for any additional salary payment under this section is contingent upon the existence of sufficient funding, independent of funding specifically set aside for other programs within the Marion County Sheriff's Department. These certificate payments shall be payable out of Fund 3018, County Detention Facility Fund, subject to fund availability pursuant to 12-41-505 Arkansas Code.
Now that you actually read it, we have a step grade.
Step grant.
That's different.
That is
Yeah,
different.
We
that's
need to
different.
probably add that as well.
Yeah,
that,
and so is the patrol,
We have a
part
park
of patrol.
patrol and Corps of Engineers.
Part patrol is paid out for 2 years.
Oh, hi, what'd you step
I'm sorry.
Okay, you're okay.
Sneaky.
don't have that in here. We were talking about the certificate pay. Cheyenne added that into our new one because it was in the old one when we had gotten into
Do you
that.
know why it's in our old one?
Certificate thing?
Yeah, why this one is mentioned in it, but like our step and our park patrol, our Corps of Engineers isn't.
I would guess,
They're
just
two,
by reading it.
they're two different things.
Right,
Yeah.
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 But I would guess just by reading this and everything, that it's in the handbook because they only pay it once a year.
Yeah,
And that
it's
way-
like a bonus.
Right, and that
Oh.
way, if people get them throughout the year, they're not saying, hey, where's my money? Well, it's
Fair
because it's only done once a year. Would be my guess.
Do we need to add step into this, you think?
No, step and park patrol are just different kinds of patrol they
Okay.
have to do, and it's paid by a different, it's not.
Not a benefit.
Yeah,
Okay.
no.
You
and-
earn the one and you don't get it.
Right, because
Okay,
you're paid overtime on that and stuff too, if you work overtime. And it's a completely separate payroll.
okay. Any questions so far on that?
No, any other changes that we need to go over before we go into this?
Yep.
Fun one that I want to talk about?
Yeah, there's actually, there's a few.
And right after that, under the vacation leave, the second sentence of that, I just have a question mark. I don't know, I'm just not reading that right. County full-time employees shall be eligible for paid vacations, but temporary, in parentheses, fewer than 90 days per year, and employees who work less than 59 hours per pay period shall not be eligible. Now that I read that again, I don't know why I questioned that, but, okay, scratch that one. So the very last sentence of that,
On the vacation?
on the vacation. Isn't that supposed to be carryover, shouldn't it be carryover? Regular full-time employees who have been employed by the county continuously for more than 1 year who resigned from the job in good standing with the. I don't know what I had on that. I don't know, I had marked for something, but I can't remember. Okay, moving on.
Okay.
The service time, did we, under the, it just says 90 days. 40 hours, do we need to have 90 days dash to like 1 year? Or just after 90 days?
Oh, I can admit to.
Either after 90 days, it just looks weird going 90 days,
Yeah.
12 hours.
Yeah, because then you don't want somebody to say, oh, so I get 40 hours every 90 days. You know?
I think somebody would try that too. You're
Forty
right, 40
hours.
hours.
90 days, 1
After
year.
1 year.
Yeah.
That would flow with the rest of it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, yep.
Okay. #21, E sick leave. So in our current book, it says sick leave accrues after 90 your 90-day probationary period, and it doesn't say that in here.
Correct, we
We don't-
took that out, so that way it'll start accruing as soon as they start, so, because the system won't let me do that, if I'm gonna give them health insurance, because it's all tied to one benefit. So I can't just give them health benefits without letting them accrue sick leave. So I'm always having to manually go in there and take it away, and if you forget or something, somebody's gonna get that 8 hours, but they get it at 90 days. So when we were speaking with Judge and everything, we said, let's just go ahead and let them start accruing it when they hire. It'll be accrued like everybody else the first of the month, but they can't take it for 90 days. So that way they will. So, yeah.
So we did, thank you.
Yeah.
So-
That's in there.
But our current manual says they don't get it until after their 90 days.
Right. Well, this one, our new one, does it say we don't get it?
No, the new one says it'll accrue the first
The
day,
new one,
but
this-
we can't use it till the fourth month starts.
Right.
And our system does accrue, the way our system is set up, she's correct, it does start accruing day one. And you have to manually go in and get it. And if you don't, new employees will be like, hey, I have 8 hours of sick time. You're like, oh,
Sorry, I had to take that
oops, let
away.
me wipe that out. And now that we are all digital with our direct deposit stubs, we can't, manually erase that. That's out there. It can't be changed. And so they think they have that 8 hours and they really don't, because our system automatically accrues it.
I feel like that could create some issues, like.
Right, and that's
Like
why,
where-
that's why we just say, let's go ahead and let everybody accrue it and everything, but you can't use it until after you've done this for 90
And
days.
Same as
I've been
previous.
doing it different than that, and Gene and I have touched on this. I've been going by the handbook, and I had a new employee that saw his pay stub that said he had, I don't know, 8 or 16, or he already was accruing. And
Right.
he had a child, and he thought he had sick that I didn't give him, because I don't have his 90 days yet. Because he wasn't told he wasn't told, he just sees it on his check stub.
Yeah.
So it caused a little issue for us, but I'm going by the handbook, and I think that's a problem for Gene, so I don't know where we're at.
Well, that's why I'm confused, because I thought our current handbook that we're using is this old one, which says they don't start accruing it until after 90 days.
Yes,
Correct.
that is what we're following right now.
But they're actually getting it.
But they're getting it.
Sometimes they do. And I didn't know that it did it until after I'd been here for a few months, so people were getting it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
our system, I don't know why or how it was set up like that, but you have to manually go in and exclude the new people. And sometimes you're like, oh, has that been 90 days on a new person? And it's easy to forget who has or who hasn't, or miss one. We're human. So if that confusion does happen, like that new employee at the sheriff's office. And so this way, if we change it to this policy,
Then they start accruing it right away, but they just can't use it until after their 90 days.
Correct.
Does that actually say that in there though?
Yeah.
Okay.
it says, it begins to accrue first day of work for full-time employees, but not eligible to request sick time until the beginning of the fourth month of continuous full-time regular employment at the county.
And then no sick leave can be taken unless it's earned, is further on down.
Correct.
I just want to say, just to kind of back that up, the old software that was used around the time that they were working on this personnel policy was a lot different than the new one that we're on, and the new one is way more detailed. And there's like 50 billion more steps and stuff involved. And like she's saying, there's many, many steps, and it's totally different than the system that they were using when this was first.
Okay. Thank you. And then the payout of the sick leave,
That wouldn't be something new.
I was like, I don't remember discussing that at all. I was like, I don't have that in my notes at
That's the
all.
10 days, remember?
Pardon me?
That's like the 2-week pay period or something.
Oh, no, that's the
That's
incentive.
just
That's
the
the
incentive.
So the payout, I believe the judge had talked with other counties and they're doing this, because we pay out vacation and comp time, but we don't, no, we pay out vacation.
We pay vacation
And
and comp.
comp,
You have to pay comp.
yeah, but we don't pay out sick. And so all these employees that have been here for so long, and that's why it starts out at 5 years, like you have to be here.
Be invested, yeah.
Yeah, and so he had talked with other counties, and this is what, other counties are doing with their sick leave, so it kind of mirrors that.
Okay.
And so.
I'm not around with it, I think it's a great idea.
He wants to
Like,
give that
I
a
was just like,
shot.
wait, I've never talked about this.
Yeah.
Can we, I guess we can, what about, so, Do you have a copy of it, Jackie? What, the new one that Cheyenne did?
I'm just, Candace sent it to me.
Oh, okay. What about like the other half? So like 5 to 10 years, you're gonna get paid for 50% of your sick time that you accrued. Can they donate the other 50% to our sick leave bank that we're gonna start?
Well, I mean, I don't know. I mean, that's gonna depend on how they wanna create that sick bank, you know? And, I mean, if that's something that
Because
we
they're gonna lose
wanna
it
add
anyway,
to,
like, I mean,
you know,
I mean, that's the possibility, but
but at least the employee's getting something
right?
out of it.
so it's possibility.
Yeah, it's definitely something to keep in mind for that policy when they put it together.
Where it says in good standing, do we need to say something to the effect of like at the elected officials? I mean, because what I think might be good standing, you might not think is good standing, or does something, do we need something there? I'm throwing out the question.
Yeah.
As far
That's a great
as,
question.
as far as having vacation paid out,
Sick time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Sick time and
it says
vacation.
on both of
because
them.
vacation it says that as well. Personally, I would, to be able to have all your i's dotted and t's crossed, that all vacation and sick leave that is going to be paid out must be signed off by an elected official.
I would think you would need something because the employee might think, hey, I'm in good standing, I turned in my 2 weeks notice, but
Right.
in reality.
In reality, you didn't know that we was getting ready to terminate you.
Yeah,
You know. We were thankful when you turned in your resignation.
Or they turned in their resignation, but they called in sick
Right, right.
9 out of the 10 days or whatever. So to me, that's not, you're not leaving in good standing.
To help in those vacation and sick time.
I mean, and that's something else that
I think that's a good idea.
could be done on the next interview.
Okay. Um,
And you know, something else that I would add on there, to me personally, is if you're terminated, your vacation or your sick leave would not be paid out. But that's just me. I mean, if you're terminated,
I think if you're terminated, we shouldn't be
you
liable
shouldn't
to
be
pay
paying,
out
you
nothing.
shouldn't be paying, you have to pay out comp time, because those are hours worked. But you don't have to pay out that vacation, and you don't have to pay out that sick. I would put that in.
Definitely more.
Yeah, because it's not required. You know, some states do require you to pay out vacation time when it's earned, but not all do, and Arkansas does not. So I would put in there if you're terminated.
I agree. Saves the county money.
Yeah, exactly.
And if you're being terminated, I feel like if you're being terminated,
There's a
like
reason
you obviously
for it.
weren't doing your job, so.
It shouldn't be in good standing at
No.
that point.
No, I agree.
You know, so, I mean, you're being clear at that point.
Yeah, and then nobody can come back and say, well,
Exactly.
I should have, they should have paid me because I left in, good standing or whatever.
Right.
okay, on to page 22. Right above G, that last little paragraph in F. Actually, the very top of 22. That first highlighted, it's green highlighted. The absence is due to inclement weather shall not result in disciplinary action at the discretion of the elected official. I like that. I know we talked about that. So that second paragraph down where it says essential and emergency employees shall not be eligible to exercise the inclement weather absence. Essential and emergency employees are those working in the road and bridge department, sheriff's department, detention center, and emergency dispatchers. This is my personal opinion, and y'all can say yay, nay, whatever. I think that needs to be at the discretion of the elected official as well, or that just needs to be removed from that. And here's why I say this, because if Chuck's my boss, and he knows that I showed up for work every single day when I'm sick and I don't call in, but heaven forbid I can't get out of my driveway, and if you saw where I live, you'd know I can't get out of my, because it's icy and I have one incline this way, I have a steeper incline this way, and then I have a really steep incline this way to get out of my driveway.
As your boss, I tell you to move.
But Cole here, who calls in sick every Friday because he wants a long weekend and decides he doesn't want to come in on a snow day.
I would
You
move,
know,
okay.
it's like-
Discretion of,
I think it should be at the discretion, if they're in good standing with their department and are always there, but they can't get out because of the weather, I don't feel like they should be penalized. They're already not gonna get their pay for that day. They should at least get the weather pay that everybody else is gonna get.
Okay, so go back up to our last page of 21, the last paragraph of 21, where it says essential emergency employees asked to report to work despite county offices and department closure, they shall be paid for their hours to actually work at their overtime rate with the additional 8 hours of increment. So
That's
they
what I
get,
was just about to say, kind of contradicts, I mean,
It
we
does.
can strike
I
that
would
last
say, I would take
paragraph,
that last paragraph out,
because it,
because it explains it right here.
Yeah.
And
but
there,
that's if they show up, they get 8 hours paid plus overtime rate?
correct.
Wow, that's different than what they've been doing.
No, that's how
yeah,
it's
that's
supposed
what
to
we
be.
wanted to
That's not how
change
it's
it to.
been.
That's how it's supposed to be according to the handbook.
But yeah, that last paragraph kind of,
It kind of negates what you just said.
Exactly,
about
what we
above
said
that. So I was
above.
like, I don't like that, but
Yeah.
it's like,
To me, it's the rare occasion one person
is.
can't get out. It's not gonna
Yeah,
happen very
it's not the
often, but if
norm.
it does, I don't think they should be penalized
No,
by trying to get to work.
I mean, because if you do have them, I mean, since they're getting the inclement weather pay and their overtime rate, but if they can't get out because of whatever, they'll still get their,
the weather.
the weather pay
Right.
and
and
everything.
it says the absences should not result in disciplinary action
Correct.
at discretion. I think it should be just
Just remove that from the last
removed, because
paragraph.
there's so
Okay.
many other statements,
Okay,
Yeah,
so I can definitely remove that.
on the, and under H, under the FMLA, I have written, and maybe we change this. It says, if you worked at least 1,250 hours, 1,250 hours, I have 1,800 hours written on mine.
no, it's 1,250
It is
hours.
1,250.
So we did not touch anything under
Okay.
the FMLA section, because
Okay.
it came from AAC themselves.
Okay.
Right, it's the actual FMLA.
And that might have been, did that maybe come from this? I don't know where I got that. I did double check that, but I was like, I have 1,800 written there, not 1,250. That's fine.
It's 1,250 and then they get 480 hours off.
Okay. That's all, those are the only few questions that I had.
We didn't do anything with that.
But yeah, we were like, we're not touching that,
Yeah,
we're
I
not
think
changing
we did.
anything,
I didn't
that
remember that in my
is
notes
like
from before.
gospel.
Yeah.
Yeah, the only thing I changed were the letterings to like the headings. So,
Okay.
Yeah, we didn't do
So
anything with
we are on
Yeah, you shouldn't on that either.
parental leave.
Yeah.
Almost done, you guys. I'm so excited. Okay. So parental leave. No, it's not in our other one. It's not in the
no,
first
it's
manual.
completely
This is completely new.
new. Nothing from the old policy, the old policy. Need to be taken.
Okay. My first question is, does this need to be have a separate own heading, or does this need to go under like FMLA?
Well, it's following the FMLA stuff because military duty is under FMLA as well, so you're
Okay.
right in conjunction with it.
Okay. So under the birth parents section, birth mothers are eligible for 4 weeks of paid maternal leave following the birth of their child.
I have a problem with that.
I was like, are they using vacation time, comp time, sick time? Is the county just paying everybody, every birth mother 4 weeks? Like, that's kind of vague in my opinion.
Well, the judge would like to pay 4 weeks of their time off because they're eligible under FMLA to have 12 weeks off of unpaid or paid time. It depends. Do they have vacation? Do they have sick? Or are we paying it? He wants to pay mothers who give birth 4 weeks of paid time. I have an issue with that. Maybe it is not an issue. I think it's something that really needs to be looked at on the legal standpoint.
Okay.
I believe that it should be offered to any of the people that are on maternity leave. I don't think that you should single one out. I mean, state employees in Arkansas, we're not state employees, but what they do is they get 12 consecutive weeks of paid maternity leave after the birth, adoption, or foster care placement of a child. That's the same wording as FMLA and everything as well, with the exception of being paid. The state chooses to pay them for 12 weeks. He would like to pay for 4 weeks, so I believe that it should be birth, adoption, or foster care placement, just like the FMLA wording is. If you have 2 employees with the state of Arkansas, if you have the father and mother both working for you, what they do is you get 12 weeks of paid time off, but you got to divide it between the 2 of you. So if one of you want to take 8 weeks paid and the other one 4 weeks paid, we'll give you both paid time off, but you're only getting 12 weeks of paid time off.
Total.
Between the 2,
Okay.
correct. So, like I said, the only real wording that I have a problem with, and I don't, like I said, it should go in front of legal just to make sure that I'm correct and everything, but I think it should be too long. I think it should follow the same wording as FMLA.
Thoughts from anybody?
I think it should, because if not, somebody could come back and say,
You discriminated against
that's
me.
exactly what I was gonna say. Like, you discriminated
What do we do
because
now?
What do we do now?
This isn't it.
This part isn't even in there.
Oh,
What they did
You have to
do
ask
though,
permission to have a baby.
yeah.
That's
You have to
what-
And you have to ask
permission.
Great permission from
Yeah.
your elected official.
Yeah.
And then you get 4 months
But
off.
then you get 4 months off. So
I'll be
they
fine.
went above and beyond what FMLA does and gave 4 months off.
So if there's gonna be objection from the judge, if this 4 weeks is higher.
Depends on what's legal. And really, I mean, the 4 weeks can be 4 weeks. There's no issue with that. It's just the wording, who gets that paid time. You know, it needs to be like I said, like the state says, it is for birth, adoption, or foster placement.
So if we got just rid of the birth parent
Correct.
under that duration of leave in the birth mothers and just say parental leave, just leave it as parental leave,
I would just,
is
like I said, I
eligible
would
for
word
4 weeks of paid maternal.
paid
Parental
maternity
leave.
leave after the birth, adoption, or foster care placement of the child.
Get rid of, well, no, maternity leave is, that's for moms, and paternity leave is for dads, adoption leave. We don't have foster in there at all, do we need to add?
We do not have, yeah, we need foster in there.
Yeah.
It's in
I mean,
FMLA.
it needs to be worded just like the FMLA because it is considered
And fathers, I believe, get the same rights as
fathers get the
mothers
same
now.
rights as mothers. That is correct.
And that's not,
However,
it's in here.
I mean, the fathers get the same thing and everything. However, you can, like the state does, they split that up a little bit. So I don't know.
Right now, I know men are allowed, like, they use sick time. We just had that.
Well, if you're on FMLA, you must use sick time and vacation time for it. If you choose not to fill out FMLA paperwork, that's between you.
But if, say, you're an employee that has 200 hours hours sick, you're still gonna get 4 weeks paid and not have to touch your sick. Is that what I'm hearing?
Say that one more time.
If say I'm pregnant, about to have a baby, and I have 200 hours of sick leave, I don't have to touch that for my maternity leave, I just get 4 weeks of pay.
Well, if this is approved and you get 4 weeks of pay, you get your 4 weeks of pay off. And then after 4 weeks, then you start dipping out of your sick or your
If
vacation.
they wanna take longer off.
Yeah, not very many people come back after 4 weeks of giving birth, but
So under adoption leave, we need to add foster, line for foster leave as well.
Some type of parental leave.
So we have maternity leave, parental, paternity leave, adoption leave, foster leave.
I would just pull it up off this.
Yeah, I can copy the FMLA wording, plug it in there, and send it out to you guys.
And then under the duration leave, strike that birth parent and the birth mothers and just leave it as parental leave is eligible for 4 weeks of pay. And then parental leave, period.
In that.
I know, parental leave is eligible for 4 weeks of paid time off.
Yeah.
You just leave it at that, I guess, if that's what he wants to do.
Yeah, I feel like that 4 weeks really needs to be specified on what kind of.
I do too, that's why I was just like, we're just gonna pick, so
So if I'm getting a foster kid that's 15 years old,
you can get 4 weeks of paid off.
so it's not just infants, it's whatever.
A foster kid's a foster kid, I
Can't start saying, okay, if it's a baby, you get this.
Yeah,
you get
maybe you get 6 weeks, but if it's 12 or older, you only get 2 weeks. You gotta bond with that child regardless of age and get them settled in and everything.
So you do have to have 1 year of continuous service.
You do, you have to.
So I was like, is there a minimum? There
Yes.
is now, as I'm reading through
Yeah,
this.
definitely you have to be employed for 1 year or work 1,250 hours.
And we have the verification and the documentation
Yeah.
of the surrogacy and foster, which is, that's covering our butts too, right? I like that, yeah, we just need to figure out if that's,
I say copy it from the FMLA wording, so you plug
plug
it
that
in
in.
how it needs to be.
And the foster leave, strike out the
And I
birth
will
parent.
get the wording right.
And just tweak that duration of leave to make it cover all of those as
Yeah.
far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, because you just can't say, you get 4 weeks of paid and you don't.
All right, occupational injury leave is the next one,
That's from the old policy.
and the accidental
Dental, yeah.
one. Because when I read those, I think that those should be under like a workman's comp type thing. Do we have a workman's comp
Yeah,
section?
oh, not in here.
No, this is the little bit of workman's comp that it does cover in the
Okay. So
policy.
we don't have a separate, so I was like, do we have a separate section? So like, this all just sounds like workman's comp, and not what you're talking about.
They're supposed to be, and I think Melissa has it posted, I'm 100% sure, but it's supposed to be posted in all break rooms and all managers are supposed to have information on workman's comp. Excuse me, so they know what to do and everything if something happens, so. Because they should know what number to call, where they can go, who's covered under our insurance.
So what determines if their name gets placed on the inactive status? I'm confused on that second sentence in the, under M. The county shall have the employee's name placed on an inactive status without pay unless additional circumstances justify action by the quorum court.
Oh, because I think workman's comp is paying them, so we don't pay them off
Okay.
of a payroll
Okay.
side, because they're getting a check from AAC, I believe.
Okay. It doesn't say that in there, it just says they're gonna be placed on inactive status, they're not gonna get paid after 7 days, I was like, well, that's kind of harsh. If they've been injured on the job. That is true.
Do you want to tweak it?
I don't know, do we need to tweak it? That's my question.
I mean,
If they're on an active status, I mean, I would just add something that pay would be done free workman's comp or something.
Yeah, the money shall have the employee's name placed on an active status if being paid, inactive status without pay if being paid by workman's comp.
Right.
Or through workman's comp unless additional circumstances justify action by the quorum court. Just add that little, if they're being paid through workman's comp. Because I was like, I read that and I thought, well, you get paid for 7 days and then you're on.
bye, sorry, you're hurt.
You're on your own, figure it out.
So, sorry you fell and broke your
Yeah.
leg.
That's right.
That's what I envisioned when I read that. Sorry about your luck.
The accidental injury leave.
Hope you got that insurance.
Oh, but you're not working, so that's gonna cancel in 30 days.
Right? No, we have to maintain their insurance if they're out.
Yeah, that's fine. Anything, and I guess anything under the accidental injury leave, I thought that was fine.
I think that sounds
Okay. Informal procedure for reporting / resolving perceived harassment and other job-related complaints.
That came from well, I'm just gonna say the rest of the packet came from AAC.
I was like, I don't think I want to touch any of the rest of these sections with a 20-foot pole because I think it's just all legal stuff that if there's no modifying this or adjusting it at all.
Cause it's like re-registering and.
Yep.
Groups, like, yeah. But there were some additions added to stuff we've already reviewed.
From the very first section?
Yeah, so,
Oh,
I
I briefly went through it, but I didn't see.
yeah, so,
We had to add a,
yeah, the page 6, it's 6 through,
Oh, I did see you add
yeah,
that.
Six
before
through
they had that,
Yeah.
they passed the act in
Yeah.
Arkansas that you have to
With all the
have
AI
that
stuff.
now.
I did read that, and I was
and-
like, that's all
Yeah,
mandatory
it's
stuff.
it's
you have to do there
mandatory
too,
and it's
so-
all worded by AAC.
AC, yeah, that was provided,
Yeah.
and they're like, hey, can you stick this in your policy?
Yeah.
Um,
I did see that now that you're.
yeah, but also on page 8, M and N. This was passed by an ordinance that never made it into the old policy. There was this was before my time, but, from my knowledge, there was a debacle between a previous judge and previous sheriff, employees and or sheriff themselves.
Okay.
And that's why M and N were put into place.
Okay.
So, it was passed by ordinance. That's why I brought that forward to the new policy.
I don't have a problem with that.
If you want to review that.
Children less than 18 years of age are not to be brought to the workplace on a regular basis in lieu of childcare. Employees must notify their supervisor or elected officials in advance when they notify them about it. So,
If they're
If they're bringing up.
Oh, okay.
So,
it's like, what do we?
I mean, yeah, so I talked to the judge about that and he's like, listen, if you need your kid here randomly, that's fine, but not every single day and not as a babysitter, like
Right.
bringing your kid here after school because you don't have a babysitter versus, oh, you need to pick them up early because you have a doctor's appointment for them. You know, just notify the elected official that they're gonna be here, but don't make it a daily habit type thing.
So at the very end of that, do we need to add, like, employees must notify their supervisor or elected official in advance if extenuating circumstances require you to bring your file with you or something like that? But that last sentence just sounds odd to me. Employees must notify their supervisor or elected officials in advance.
But that-
Confusing.
think if child will be present in workplace.
Yeah, something like that.
Okay.
It just sounds like it's.
That sentence not finished.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think it's like, and I'm waiting for like the punchline, like.
Now, Connie, what if some kind of emergency, I mean, I have no kids that are under 8, so it doesn't really apply to me, but what if there is an emergency circumstance that, how are you supposed to notify your elected official in advance if something comes up?
Discretion.
Well, that's what it's, well,
I mean, yeah, I mean,
You are,
they
you're
had
like.
a lockdown
like
at the
in your
school,
case,
but they
Judge,
let them all
I
go,
never
so
seen-
they
yeah,
had to
give
get
your
here
5
at
minutes.
3:30,
Yeah,
I got off 4:30,
Yeah,
and
they're
they're gonna be here
gonna
for an hour, you know?
Yeah,
And the
again, it's
elected
up to the
official
elected
is
officials
office,
to
yeah.
decide.
Meeting or something.
Everybody's pretty laid back.
There's a,
no, I don't, yeah, I see your guys'
I
point,
see where you, I see where you have to have it in there. I'm not saying that because times change and you have turnover and you maybe have younger people that have smaller children, yada, yada, yada. That sentence just seems like it's incomplete, but I also think that it should be at the discretion of the elected official as well.
I almost feel like the sentence should be, the elected official should use
Well,
discretion.
it also says
There you
employee
go.
must notify their supervisor or elected official, so there should be
Or
some.
the next day up.
Right, you know, I mean, if your elected official is gone, there's somebody else there that you can talk to and say,
Yeah.
hey, this has happened, they're gonna be here for 20 minutes, you know, or whatever. Right.
and I mean, all of our people, we have a good team, everybody's pretty understanding.
We're writing this for here and now. but we
True.
don't know when this is next going to be.
Right,
I
right.
know, it might be really.
What kind of people are you guys hiring?
We will have none of that riffraff.
No babies,
No, baby.
but, yeah, I'll add it in there.
Just add something in it.
Just to make the sentence complete.
Yeah,
All right,
it just sounds like you had a pause and then you didn't finish it. And I'm not gonna be able to use your bite. Imagination, we're like, what? And I feel like there's like a line to like fill in the blank, but it's like, what else is supposed to be there? Vehicle policy,
Oh, we got on both of those?
Yes.
Okay, I think there's more actually, I'm sorry.
okay. I didn't have any vehicle policy, Marion County employees hourly base shall not use county vehicles to transport a non-Marion County employee or a non-Marion
They're so,
benefit for a non-emergency event. This does not prohibit transportation for law enforcement purposes, for the day-to-day operation of the sheriff's office, or any other purposes. Any county employee or supervisor who violates this policy is subject to inappropriate discipline up to and including termination. And that was also carried over from the other policy.
Yes.
Right, okay. What else you got?
Let's see. I'm pretty sure it's just stuff we went back through and we're like, oh, let's just make it.
I have a question about that. Just,
14.
I don't drive a county vehicle. It doesn't, again, it doesn't apply to me. I'm just asking questions.
You ask away.
So that can they not take their kids to school?
It should be.
They shouldn't be.
No, because if they got in a wreck or something and their kids.
Gotcha.
That's right.
Okay. I'm thinking just how far out everybody lives and now you're gonna have to, well, not now, but I mean, I guess it's always been in play.
Yeah.
Get on a bus, kid.
Kids got it easy these days.
They do.
Oh, my God.
I never ride the bus all the way through high school until I got my license, or I could beg or a neighbor that had been driving by, and I lived out in the country.
We were catching the bus at 6 a.m. out in Peel.
Yes,
And you can ride the bus.
We didn't have to walk up hill, go place in the snow.
Yes, with one shoe.
We did have to ride the bus every day, to and from school.
I'm more like college.
I had to ride it home. My mom didn't have to be at work till like 9, so.
Page 14.
Under travel reimbursement,
Yes.
Campbell policy, just forgot to put in the maximum rate of mile reimbursement. If you use your own car, will be reimbursed by the county's most current ordinance. And that rate hasn't been changed in years.
I mean years, because the rate is like 41 cents or.
Changes it, are you talking about, gas?
Yeah, yeah.
It changes every year.
Yeah, but
Mileage
our ordinance
reimbursement
hasn't
does
changed.
not.
See, it should be what the current rate is. The
Well, it
ordinance
should
should
be.
read whatever the current year's rate is.
That's correct, it should read.
That's what I would change it.
That's what this says, it will be paid at the most current.
Yeah, that's
very
very old.
Ordinance,
It should be
exactly.
paid at the most current.
They should have an ordinance that says it is paid at the most current IRS rate.
Yeah, they should amend that ordinance.
So can I say that?
They just need to amend that ordinance, do they not?
Yeah,
That is
and then
correct.
we can put that in.
Well, you don't have to put it in there because it'd be a new ordinance.
True. Can we just amend it?
Karen can write that up.
Can we write that, can we
Yeah, we
get that
can.
ordinance going?
Hey, Candace.
We need to amend the
Mileage
ordinance.
reimbursement ordinance.
Mileage ordinance.
Well, we're on page 14.
It's in God's office.
We were talking about snow. We were talking about snow.
No, we're gonna get the snow outside, ladies.
Not even not anymore.
Just enjoy the rain right
Didn't
now.
want to put the ordinance in
Because
there.
then, every time we change that
Because then
ordinance,
you
we
have
have
to change it every year.
Somewhere there's an ordinance that talks about reimbursing mileage.
Karen knows.
Karen knows where it
needs
is.
to be
It
updated.
needs to be updated, IRS current.
Yeah.
And just say that
Yes.
it will follow the.
Cause then it'll stay the same throughout every, yeah, cause I think it's like beyond low right
Oh, it's like 41 cents.
Yeah.
IRS rates at 70 something.
Yeah.
So.
I think, are we all in agreement? You can have us down to that, we will,
We'll sponsor.
sponsor that
Yeah.
ordinance. if it comes to
Do I need to bring that to the budget meeting?
No, this is the committee's supporting it.
Oh, that's,
So it doesn't need to go through the budget, just.
So we can do
can we not just change it in here?
But there's
No,
already.
we're not
there's
gonna
already-
change it
already
on
have
time.
to have an
Ordinance.
You gotta have an ordinance.
Did she quit talking about the snow?
She was over this hot, I want some snow.
I'm enjoying fall
Oh,
rain
thank
right
you.
now.
I'll help you tomorrow. All right, deal. Okay, so we're good with this one.
Are we gonna leave it as the most current rate?
Current or,
IRS rate.
Most current
Because this
IRS
says-
rate? This
yeah.
says Marion County
County
ordinance. and we're gonna have to
Okay, yeah,
personally
okay,
change
yeah.
both.
That's what I'm saying, can we not just change that?
We'll have to-
We are.
We'll
We're
have
not
to change the ordinance first.
Before we can change the policy?
Isn't that
This
ordinance
policy-
the same
It's not gonna
as,
go into effect till 26.
on the same ordinance, isn't it the hotel,
They want it to be
Yes.
next year, it's
Or
75
mileage.
cents, it'll be 75.
and food?
The
Are
next
they
year
all
is
separate,
They're all separate.
separate ordinances?
Because that ordinance I just read not too long ago about the mileage, it's just.
it's all,
Well, can't a whole new one be wrote up for all three?
Well,
Because that would
we could-
supersede.
well, we could have
That
two
would-
ordinance,
that-
blank, blank, and blank, and combine them all together.
Yeah.
Right.
Work with Candace on that tomorrow.
Okay.
If we say we vote on this policy and whatever this policy is, it's gonna limit the
It'll never get done.
ordinance. So if this policy says
It's saying
IRS, whatever the IRS is, we can eliminate that ordinance altogether and we go by the policy.
Yeah, but we're gonna have to do away with that.
That's what I'm saying,
Right,
to
right.
eliminate the ordinance, say it overrides the ordinance and we get rid of that ordinance, it's no longer in effect.
In this policy overriding ordinance number,
I'm saying, if the full corn court approves this policy manual, and it says in there it's at the current rate, then whatever y'all do to get rid of that ordinance, to say it's no longer in effect because we go by this policy. See what I'm saying? There's no need to have an individual ordinance just for mileage. It's in the policy manual.
That's what I'm saying. What's the, yeah.
Can't you just say,
But-
okay, this is no longer in effect? I don't know how that works in the corn court, but
That might be a Russo question.
Yeah.
Yeah, 'cause I.
to be able to
I don't know,
supersede an
I don't know.
ordinance, you just look at the policy.
I guess if you wanted the mileage to change this year, we'd have to do that ordinance, but then this policy.
It's been 40-some cents for 10 years, so who cares if it's another couple months?
I'm not going anywhere, it don't affect me.
Yeah, go watch it
So as
snow.
long as we have the current IRS rate, we
we
should be
should be
good.
okay.
Yeah.
And we can, we can,
And
Rich can
you,
look over
and you
it.
should, like he was saying, make that whatever the rate is for food and hotel and all that.
Just like curiosity, how many people
That
in this
way
room
it's
have
all-
gone to Little Rock and
Travel
spent the night?
reimbursement, I could put like in parentheses,
Have you guys gone to Little Rock and spent the
Uh-huh.
night?
Oh,
And isn't our rate now like $80?
it went up, I
I
believe.
think it's 90 something now.
No.
I can't really get it.
I
For a
don't-
Yeah, I mean,
What are you staying in the hood?
Yeah,
I'm not gonna stay in a hotel for $9, cause it's probably gonna be in the hood.
I think
I
it's
just got back.
120 now.
You have to bring your own bed bug in.
so what is the limit? What is it?
I think 120.
The
I think
walls
it's
are
120.
showing
That's
yellow.
better. That's it.
That's doable.
I stayed in North Little Rock when I had to go down last December when we had to do the JP training thing, but I mean, it was, I think back then it was $80 or $90 we got reimbursed.
I thought it was 80 back then.
But I mean, it wasn't that, I spent it, I mean, I got a cheap hotel that was in a nice area because I had Mark look at it, because I'm like, I ain't staying.
I just paid
That's
the
like-
extra and stayed where I always stay.
Right,
I was
right.
like,
That window.
I was like, I know I know this hotel. I'll eat the cost for the rest of the
Yeah,
day.
I went and breakfast too, but,
Uh,
okay,
Page
moving on.
18.
Page 18.
Gratuities came from the old policy, and then under group insurance, we left out Cobra. Oops, so that came from the old policy too.
Okay. That's an important one to have in there.
Yeah,
Well, we went through it all.
oh, was that the last one?
That is.
Oh, woo.
Unless I bring up something.
Oh, my Sue.
I'm so sorry. Did you all talk about, use of county vehicles?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
We just did that one.
Do we need to go back? I mean, we're done with everything then, right?
Yes.
Yes.
We need to go back about law enforcement or account. Wasn't it something we said we were gonna talk about?
That's already here. She updated that.
Oh, okay.
Just contact. Yes, ma'am.
This doesn't apply to me, but, what about like nursing mothers? Is there anything in the policy for that as far as, somebody that's breastfeeding and comes back to work? Is there gonna be like a designated place where they can go in and?
Federal law, we have to provide that.
Yeah.
You know, if you want to put it in there, I would put it in under FMLA leave and stuff and put a paragraph, you can pull it out of the.
I didn't know if it was a
Federal law.
requirement to have, it was just something that I was just.
You have
Mine already
No.
is.
I didn't-
So, I'm
Not right now.
I didn't even, to be honest, I didn't read through that FMLA section because it came from the AAC, so they're, our people.
I did read through it, but I can't remember what pages that started.
So I have no idea.
It's around
AAC steers from there's a
22.
problem.
22. No, it doesn't have it in there. I mean, and in fact, what you could do is contact AMC and ask them for their
Yeah.
copy of it, just plug it in.
Yeah, because we have to have designated
You do,
locking.
yeah,
It-
it has to be
it's a
designated, it has to be
whole-
locking.
Whole big thing about breastfeeding mamas.
Where they're gonna have that in some of these places, I wonder?
Because
Because it has to be private.
Discretion.
Yeah, well,
Good point, thank you.
Because it has to be private.
Because maybe no one's doing it right now, but we don't know when it's gonna
Yeah.
be.
We don't
It's
have
just
it.
something that I know that when I was over on the HR side that was talked about
Yeah.
and it just happened to cross our minds. so thought
I
I'd do
appreciate
it.
that. Anybody else have anything else?
this is exciting.
I'm
So
super
do we-
excited, but I try not to get my hopes up real high, because I know Russo's gotta go through this. He's gonna come back with red mark.
I don't think so.
I'm
I
hoping
think
not.
this is pretty good.
I'm super excited.
I don't think
No, it hasn't, but I mean, we just have to make sure everything's legal.
Yeah.
Legal. Cool. I thank you. you all very much.
I have one more
Yes.
thing, and this is my individual thing, and I apologize that I wasn't here last time. Because it would have been more appropriate for everything y'all were going through. But as a reminder, I had an individual situation for myself where policy had gone back and forth, similar to what you all were talking about, you know, with child care and the sheriff's office. Just that particular time frame was a very controversial and difficult time frame. And what happened with me is the policy had been changed. We did not, when you earned your vacation time, it was not credited for use for a whole year. So as an employee, my hire date was January 21st. And so I got elected, finished out my tenure as an employee, which ended December 31st. So I was 3 weeks short of hitting another 4 weeks of a vacation. And I had spoken with Massey, and he had said, you know, don't worry about it. You're going to be making the big bucks as an elected official. We can't do that. We won't be able to pay you anything. Yet when the budget came out, it appeared that it had been budgeted to be paid out of the judge's office. But the new administration, let's just say it didn't get paid, it didn't get tackled. So I filed a request for legal review. And it was ignored. Verbally, I was told you're no longer an employee, so it doesn't apply. And I let it go because of all the conditions at the time. I've spoken with other folks since then and have said, you need to go through the Department of Labor. And I said, I don't want to go through the Department of Labor if I don't have to. So I emailed Russo again here, I don't know, when I got a feel for the new court, just put it that way. And I still haven't gotten any answer. And I understand that, you know, legal team, their job is to limit the county's liability and limit the money you pay out. So I'm just asking you, would you all be willing to review the situation and reconsider that? I haven't looked at the budgets of the judge's office this year to see if there's going to be excess, but we're talking around $3,000, possibly, depending upon how you interpret the policy at the time. But I noticed in the minutes for this past quorum court that you are going to start crediting when this new policy is passed. You are going to start letting people use that time once they got past that year mark.
We've increased vacation time in general, like,
I mean, yeah,
You're gonna get
what
more
I read is
vacation
been 5 weeks, I don't know, for my tenure.
yeah.
However many years.
We're trying to
I've done it.
reward people for staying with the county and for the loyalty and want to do like a sick leave, you know, where you're gonna get paid. You can accrue so much, and if you don't use it, you're gonna get paid out for money. Even though there's people that as soon as they use them, they're burning them type thing. Like, you're always gonna have people that are gonna do that, but trying to create an incentive
Right.
to be here, to do your job.
Reward your loyalty.
Yes, and
reward your
reward the
performance.
loyal people that want to stay and work for the county for years.
Yeah.
There needs to be some benefit to that.
Yeah, and they've also looked at changing the wording a little bit on the payout of vacation and that kind of thing as well, because it was to the discretion. It was not a
And that's where we
guaranteed
got
thing,
in trouble.
is to be paid out. So it will have to be signed off when we pay out vacations. But I mean, I see, because no, you aren't really an employee anymore, but
My other benefits didn't quit. I continued on with health insurance without interruption. I, continued on with APRS without interruption. What made the vacation pay different except for the environment at the time?
How long ago was
Y'all
that?
have any advice for me? You want to tackle this, or do I really,
With elected officials, we all have vacation.
you're just paid salary whether you have vacation or not.
What she's saying is she stopped being an official employee December 31st and was 3 weeks away, 3 weeks away from hitting her next year, but she had become an elected official at that point, and they don't get vacation.
So it was
And
vacation, it wasn't.
payroll
yet.
said,
It
how do you
was-
want
she
me
had
to turn
heard
this
that-
in?
She
We
had
don't want
heard
you
that
to turn
she
it
was
in.
still 3 weeks shy.
Correct. So
I-
if you have somebody that's retiring or something like that, and they retire 3 weeks in front of their vacation
Their
or,
anniversary date.
exactly, they're not going to get it, and we're not gonna pay that out either. So, I don't know.
I think that's a question you're gonna have to do.
To me, it's different. To me, the fact that we work the whole year before you actually earn it, as opposed to like, there are places around here that you get your vacation the day you start.
Yeah, we will.
We're a year behind. That is-
Right, that is gonna change.
So you get your 40 hours on this policy, you get your first 40 the day you start. You can't start using it until 90 days, correct?
Yeah, I think that's either, this is my personal opinion, so anybody else can say, chime in, but I think that's either a Russo question or the Fair Labor Board. I honestly don't think there's anything that we can do about that since you were shy of your 3 weeks. 3 weeks shy of it, like, I'm sorry that you had to go through that, you lost $3,000, but I feel
I
like
tried
our
research
hands are
twice and nothing, so, it's in writing and nothing, so.
You might have something with the Fair Labor Board, then if you have something in writing for that. Okay, Cheyenne, so as soon as you can get us that.
Okay, yeah. So,
I know you're busy with.
No.
Stuff, we have to
I
get
have-
to Russo and,
yeah, I've had the last one done way before I sent it, but then that whole thing came out, I'll send it a week before. So I can definitely send it
Oh,
as soon as
send
I get it.
yeah, send it as
Send
soon
it
as
to
you get it
Russo.
done.
Or
Do you
are
wanna-
you wanting to?
That's what my next question was, do you want to send it, or I don't know if it should come.
Do you
from
want
me?
I can
Yeah,
show
the
the
chair.
I would say it should come.
Do you want me to show it to the judge first before sending it to her? So,
I think the judge should probably at least look over it one last time before we. I feel like Russo should be the last one to fix it, and then it should come back to us. That's my own opinion, everybody else can have theirs.
You don't need to give me a timeline or anything.
yeah, well, I think we might be
He's out
Wow.
next week,
for
so.
a meeting. Yeah, well, it'll
You can
definitely
just
be
send it
before
to-
next.
Yeah, and you send it to him, he can look at it as his leisure, whatever, and
Well,
you know, we need to send it to him.
He has
and
access
Russo.
to it.
Yeah, at the same time, like, we give me and if we need to hammer out some more details on things.
And I can also get a table of contents. I've been working on that, so. But the page numbers keep changing. I'm
I know,
done editing this until we are completed.
So, and I know that's, you put a lot of time into that.
No, I love doing it, so it's no
Yeah.
problem.
Whenever I have anything that has to do with making things pretty.
So,
I know we talked about the sick leave bank and then, I think that's the next year.
Oh,
I don't know.
yeah,
Let's
that'll-
do that.
because
But
that'll
that's not
have
gonna
to
be our policy book
right.
anyway, that's gonna be
right,
separate.
because
and,
if you ever need to stop it, you don't have to change the whole.
Right.
and that's gonna be a whole big old thing of its own, so.
Do we wanna plan on meeting next month? I don't think we're hoping we don't I think it's better to have it on the books. than
Somebody
cancel it.
highlight. Judge.
Judge
It depends on what
Russo
Judge Russo
review.
say, yeah.
Well, put it on the books and then if
We
we
can always
don't,
cancel it if we
we can
don't need it,
cancel it.
because then it's gonna have to come to court. So our next meeting would be on Thursday, September 25th. Anybody else have anything else? Can I get a motion to adjourn? Both motions, second.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Thank you all very much.